Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chaii and Charcha powered by Chaiwala. My guest today has had an incredible journey. If you like buses, then this man is very well connected to buses. He, however, started his journey by working in his family business and then eventually went on to become a bus driver and now has a very special role for First Buses. His role is the community and social value partner for First Bus North and West Yorkshire. Let's have a chat with Mubs Mahmed. Hi Mubs, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks Fatima. How are you?
Not too bad. Welcome to Chaii and Charcha.
Amazing. I was looking forward to it. Since you told me about Chaii and Charcha and explained to me the Chaii and the Charcha and invited me, I've been looking forward to that invitation dropping ever since.
Well, I know, and you remember you telling me you love Chaiwala, you love a Garak chai, so we obviously got you the best Garak chai there is, and then you told me you love talking.
Absolutely.
So the combination, a bit of Charcha and a bit of chai. So we had to have you and I on a sofa today, so thank you so much for coming. Can I just ask, did you travel by bus or by car?
The political answer should be that on my bus, but I've actually driven in today because I've been all across West Yorkshire at different meetings and events, and finally here now landed on your yellow sofa.
Oh, don't worry, we'll let you off because we remember you brought a bus specially for us at our fashion show at Lister Park, so
We
very
did.
grateful for that.
We did.
And did she not look amazing, like a bride?
100%. I think the bus did. It looked amazing. It genuinely did, and especially what you guys did. You know, the decorations on the bus as well. I'd recently, earlier on in the year, come back from India. Spent a couple of weeks in India, and it was just the perfect fitting for the perfect event.
Do you know, I don't know if they used to do this, you guys ever did this, but I remember as a kid, you know, in Asian weddings you have so many different occasions. You have like the Mendi and stuff, but then you have the Barat, and which is basically where you go to pick the bride if you're from the boys' side. And back in the day, they used to book buses. Asian families, because they weren't rich, we used to hire buses, and everybody used to travel in a bus or a coach to go as Baratis to go get the bride and bring her back. Obviously the bride and the groom travelled in their own car, but all the cousins, relatives used to travel in the bus. And my memories, everybody, obviously if you're Asian, you do not stop at services to buy your food. You pack your food from home. So I remember the night before, all the Auntie G's, everyone's getting ready to make the food, get a big flask of chai, and then it was a proper party on these buses on the way. Early morning start, which I hated because obviously as kids, throwing you out of bed, trying to get you ready. But then once you're on the bus and the journey on the bus, they were special. The conversations, because you got all that space, it's different to a car, isn't it? And obviously the driver's doing the driving, but you're with all your family, and that vibe, those memories, that's what a bus memory brings for me. What about yourself? Did you ever have any of that when you were growing up?
Absolutely. I mean, you've just really brought some memories back for me as a young child growing up in the 90s, weddings, 100%. So we're from Savilstown, Dewsbury, and you know the streets are quite narrow and tight. So yes, for wedding occasions, I can remember one of my uncle's weddings. I can't quite remember. So one uncle said he's married in Blackburn, and the other uncle Haroon is married in London. And I do remember it was one of their weddings, and we all travelled on the coach, but the coach had to be parked on the main road. So from our house, we're all walking together to the coach. Yes, the night before, preparations of finger foods and snacks and samosas and bhajias and
and don't forget the chutneys.
And the chutneys, the kitchen roll in the bags. Yep. You know, there was no wet wipes then. Kitchen rolls, and you're on the bus. You're all in your outfits. But once you're on that motorway. the tins and the lids open and the foil gets unwrapped and all you can smell is bhajia and samosas and kebabs and
did
honestly.
And you always had a driver who wasn't Asian, who was not from the community, but you could smell the food, and our auntie is force feeding the driver.
Yeah, force feeding the driver, absolutely. Honestly, amazing times. Generations, times were different, enjoyable. Family memories, and I have aunties, really fun, bubbly characters. So my aunties who live in London, so they're always there for the weddings and family events, and at the forefront of the party. So it's like one side of the coach is the aunties and everybody tucking into that, sipping the chai, tucking into samosas. The other side, or towards, shall we say, the back of the bus, on the back seats, it's full on party mode, sing along. Oh, amazing times. Genuinely amazing times.
And that's why buses are really, and that's why your title, this is why, I had to ask you a couple of times. So normally I always do the intro in one take, but I kept forgetting Mubs' title. Primarily because it's a very special title, isn't it? And I think it really suits, that title is very suited to buses, because in terms of journeys, in terms of what we just talked about, how my memories are of being on a bus, but also my other memory as on a bus is going to school and being with my school friends. So it's always very communal, it was very community based. You never travel on a bus on your own, you're with the whole community, aren't you? So that title that you have is very apt. Tell us a little bit about the role. What is this role? What is a community specialist?
Yeah, so I'll just go back a little. So my roles at First Bus have predominantly been special to me. They've been different. They've been, not your normal roles that you would see. So some would say that I've had the opportunity, luckily, and the support from my senior leadership teams and the execs, to be able to create roles and my own pathway within the company. So this current role it's a natural transition from my previous role. So where I did work around employee engagement, employee well-being, welfare, and really creating an environment. I've always been very passionate, Fatima, about championing inclusion, diversity within the workplace, and creating an inclusive working environment. And for me, and for First Bus, something that's been really important is creating an environment which delivers on empowerment, engagement, and a sense of belonging. That last bit, sense of belonging, and it's wherever we go, whatever walk in life or whatever career we choose, that sense of belonging is really important. And in my opinion, I think it's that sense of belonging that gives you the confidence, the ability to thrive, to grow, to develop, but importantly to be yourself and create that pathway of success, not just for you, but for the organization as well. So we did quite a lot of extensive work within First Bus around diversity, inclusion, culture, that cultural transition, moving from an asset-focused organization to a people-centric organization. And then the natural transition. So we've created this environment and this platform within First Bus, an inclusive working environment, a working environment which is, that sense of belonging. And I say that with a smile, because I've seen it from the start, and I can see where we're at this moment in time in that journey within our organization.
So it's great that you said that, but my question was, so what is your role?
So my role now is,
what does that so the title that you gave me, what does that mean? What is it that you do?
Yeah. So creating community and social impact and delivering community, and it's social value, but delivering social impact. For me, it's impact. It's working in the communities that we passionately serve within organizations, and that's supporting organizations with, any community initiatives that they may have. Some of them that could be aligned to local needs analysis or the mayoral pledges. Like at this moment in time, I'll just give you some examples. Supporting the long-term unemployed is quite high on the agenda of local authorities and local communities as well. So we're supporting, with confidence building workshops, employability skills workshops, and we've called them routes to success. and it's just helping individuals who've either been out of work for a long time or looking to get back into employment with a bit of confidence building, some employability skills, interview skills, CV writing, mock interviews, to be able to really get them that confidence building to start applying for jobs and positions. We're fortunate enough to be in a position to have employment ourselves and then working in communities to support that. Other examples are that, we're currently working with a prison in West Yorkshire, supporting inmates upon the last 6 months of release, to help them integrate back into society on release. Some of the statistics, we were reading and looking at it was quite eye-opening, around reoffence once they've come out of prison, because they feel that prison is the safest environment for them. Now we're in a position to support these individuals with some employability skills, confidence building. So hopefully when they are released from prison, they get the opportunity to put some of the skills that they've picked up, some of that confidence, to apply into a positive route or a pathway such as employment or further education or training.
That's fantastic. It's really bad. And I remember we did a story as well that there's a big focus that you have in getting women into bus driving roles.
Absolutely.
And that's really powerful because, I know that first bus it's not just bus driving, it's engineering, it's in the office, there's so many roles, isn't there, that are involved. So that's incredible.
Yeah. So the bus industry has so many diverse roles available. I mean, I'm sat here in front of the community social value, looking after community social value framework in a bus company. We have engineering, we have junior accountants, we have a finance team, we have marketing executives, we have dedicated people who look after our social media channels and social media. So this is, they're not generally roles associated with bus companies. And some of the examples that, so a very heavily male dominant environment and an industry, public transport sector. So again, through our journey, it was important for us to start looking at that diversity, looking at how we can attract more females into the industry. And we did some excellent work across the region and working with partners. And one of partner that comes to mind is Women's Zone in Bradford, and working with members of Women's Zone just off Leeds Road on Hibbert Street. An amazing team there. Really genuinely amazing team, and again working doing career fairs or job opportunities, interview skills and techniques, and supporting women to apply for or go back into employment. And we had so many applications within First Bus. We've got I think 1 or 2 women now in Bradford wearing a full hijab, driving a bus. Amazing from where the industry was to see that transition. But importantly for me is women of faith, culture, ethnicity, and now
to be getting those opportunities, because sometimes people think, well, I might not be allowed, or that might not be a job that would be suited. So you don't know until you try, I guess, and you guys are opening those doors. So that's brilliant.
But when you mention opening the doors, then doors do not open without the support and help of our partners that we're working with in the communities. They embrace us to be able to come into their communities or within their organizations and work in collaboration, and together the results are being delivered. So it's so good to see. We see more and more women coming into the industry, not just First Bus. Our managing director of First Bus, Jeanette Bell, female managing director, executive within our local senior leadership team. We've got females there now, and doing an absolutely fantastic job helping drive the change in public transport. And importantly, one of our very important agendas that and initiatives that we're supporting and working on at the moment within local communities is the safety of women and girls, especially on a night time, and whether that's through public transport or out. So we are supporting a lot of initiatives again with this community social impact work and value work we're doing.
You're so passionate when you talk about your work and the company that you work for, especially. It's so heartening to see. And you've had an incredible journey with your employer, haven't you? You've had an amazing journey. So I want to talk a little bit about your career. You started off by working in your family business.
Yes.
And so therefore you're an owner of an organization, leading a team and running a family business. But then you shifted from that to then work as a bus driver first before getting into this role. And that was in 2015, I believe?
2015, January 26, 2015 is my first day when I started as a bus driver for First Bus.
So when we're like being in South Asian communities, obviously there's always a lot of pressure in terms of work, especially for boys more than girls, that you must, especially if you're born in this country, because they feel there's a privilege in terms of the education system. We've got free education, we have routes to go and do further education and then become something, which often is a doctor, engineer, accountant or whatever. So you must have had that being a boy in the family, that you need to either take over the family business or get into a job that pays really well. So there's that pressure, but then there's also the status side of things, that you're only successful if you've got a job within those kind of categories, high level, or if you're running your own business, then you've made it. So here's you running your own business to then going on to becoming a bus driver. Often it's seen as something negative in our community. Did you face any of that when you made that transition from being in your own business, your own family-run business, to then becoming a bus driver? Did any of that happen for you? Anything, in terms of what family or the community?
Oh, definitely, Fatima. I think it was twofold for me as well. Mm-hmm. So I felt I had a bit of personal, maybe, challenges that I had to go through because of that change.
Let it go firstly, your family business.
Yeah,
big
and
thing, isn't it?
then I had the community element of it, the outside eye of what people are saying and what people are going to be thinking. So prior to 2015, I'd been to college. I'd left college about 2002, 2001, and then straight into the family business and worked, on the family business. It wasn't, my dad or my uncles didn't just say, oh, here's your office, etc. It was working right from the bottom, sweeping, cleaning the machines and slowly having a little bit of responsibility added, working night shifts, working shifts, and everything, was really well. But then, due to internal challenges and changes, came 2015, late 2014, and there was no room within the family business for me to continue due to the personal challenges and business challenges, etc. And I was married. I'd been married since 2012, got married, got a young child, and all of a sudden it's, what do? I have to keep put food on the table, keep a roof over my family's head. Where do I go? What do I do? And I'm looking at applying for jobs, Fatima, and there wasn't any luck. And it got to a point where I now need a job. And I put I saw an advert come up for a bus driver in Leeds. Put my application in and did the interview, went and did the training, became a bus driver. And then the word gets out into the community. Mubarak is not working in his family business anymore, or there's something must have happened, and he's left his family business, because the family business is still running. It's not as if the business is closed and I've moved on because of that.
And now the gossip is running.
And then the gossip starts, and when I'm walking into the mosque, or when I'm out shopping in the local grocery store, you become a bus driver. How come? Why are you driving buses? What changed? What's happened? Bus driver. Really? A bus driver?
How did that make you feel?
It was difficult, Fatima. It was really hard. Now, personally, transitioning from working in the family business, and you had leniency in the family business. If you're late one morning, etc., it was fine, or you had an appointment to go to, or there was something family related matters that you had to attend. You had that bit of freedom and that flexibility. But all of a sudden you're regimented. 4:33 first bus out of the depot. I'm living in Dewsbury, travelling into Leeds, Bramley. You're getting out of bed at 2:30, 2:45 in the morning to make sure you're there on time, to get that bus out on time, to service your first bus stop on time. So all of a sudden, you've not just got responsibility to yourself, you've got the responsibility to the early morning workers that you are going to be transporting to work. And you talked around, that imposter, challenging and understanding that imposter syndrome as well, because you got the voices going off in your head now, talking about, oh, people are talking about you, what they're going to think.
Was there a little bit of shame?
Yes, yeah.
Of being a bus driver?
Absolutely. But I say that what the challenges I went through, both emotionally and then having that physical weight of what people are thinking and the community is talking, is not in the family business anymore, and he had such a good life and he's now become a bus driver. It was all worth it because of where I am now, where I'm sat, and the support I had from my wife, the support I had from family as well, and colleagues. Really, really good. But it was hard, Fatima, honestly. And and that stigma associated with leaving the family businesses, especially in our culture. And people who are from the culture or from communities, they understand, and they will understand that sense of shame. But what they don't realize is the gossip, that sense of shame that they're helping deliver, the effect it has on an individual.
It could have broken you.
Absolutely, 100%.
Because the mental, emotional, because you're the head of the house, technically, you're providing for your family. In our communities, that's how it's seen, isn't it? And then, and also to be in that network of being in a family-run environment. So you're still sort of in that dynamic. And then suddenly to leave everything behind, but continue to try and put food on the table, to then take on any job that was available, and then people putting that emotional shame on you, could have broken anybody.
Honestly, it was very difficult, and I'm not ashamed to say it. There were moments when I shed tears and I cried on a night on my own, thinking from where to where, what am I going through? Them challenges were difficult, Fatima. But as you said, it could have broke me. But you know what? I used it to make me instead.
And that's amazing. And
I genuinely did.
Yeah.
But along the way, there's so much more I need to tell you about if we get to the point of sharing and asking. But the journey has been absolutely incredible. And when I joined and got that bus driver job, I went home and I said to my wife, I've got the job. Don't worry. I'm going to be a bus driver for 6 months.
Yeah.
Keep the money coming in, and I'm going to set something up on the side, and I'm going to get into something. The best decision I ever made was not to try and concentrate on something else and continue working as a bus driver for First Bus. And I can sit here today confidently and say it's the best decision I made.
Yeah. What was your first day like on the bus? Your first day, as you start after your training's finished and you're doing your first journey, what was that like? Do you remember?
I do. My first day, so once you finish your training as a bus driver, you then get buddied up with a mentor. So you go out 2 to 3 weeks. So you've in essence, you've got somebody still supporting you.
Yeah.
You're going out, teaching you the routes and the real ins and outs of bus driving, customer servicing the bus stops and stuff. My first day on my own, I was a 4:33, I still remember, 4:33 book on, for a 4:43 or 4:48 out of the depot. Service 50A from Hunslet to Seacroft. And I slept in. That was, you asked me what was my first day like. I slept in. And my eye just opened around 4:15. And at that time I should have been almost at the depot. panic after trying the depot, and I said, look guys, I've slept in, I'm so sorry. Now the supervisors at that time of the morning, amazing people, because they have so much pressure, so much to deal with. And I'm panicking because I have not got that relationship with them yet. So then it's just a new starter who slept in.
Yeah.
I got to the depot in a real panic, honestly. So my first day I was late. My bus was late.
I feel sorry for your passengers.
But genuinely, but part and parcel of the industry, the life, that timings, things like this happen. And it's how, as an individual, you adapt because you've got the support from the organization to be able to be flexible, change, put the bus back on time. But it's how you react and how you adapt. That first day could have broken me. I could have gone home that first day and said, I can't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be late every day. But it's like in Gujarati, what do they say? Karvu padse. Meaning, this is it.
Yeah.
So you've got two choices here. You either break and say, I can't do this, or get that mindset and make it work.
Survival.
And survival, and for me, was that mindset to make it work, to make sure I'm not going to be late tomorrow. But the rest of my first day was absolutely amazing. There was no problems, no issues. And genuinely, it's just getting used to. And I'll tell you another funny story as well. So within my first or second week as a bus driver, so now I'm used to driving buses, pulling up at bus stops. So I was coming weekend, day off, waiting to White Rose Centre to do some shopping, driving back, just complete daydreaming, world of my own. I pulled up at a bus stop in my own car, thinking I'm driving a bus, and then all of a sudden I realized, what am I doing?
Autopilot.
Autopilot, exactly. I'm not realized. Let me just check the tyre and just sneak off again. But things like that happened. But genuinely, that was my first couple of experiences. My first day as a solo bus driver, I was late.
Wow. And obviously you've had an incredible journey. You really enjoyed, I can tell what you said, being a bus driver. But you so quickly got promoted within 2 years.
Yeah, so I had the amazing opportunity to do, again, a transformational role, a role which is really focused around employees, to become an employee director, part of and working with the local senior leadership team around employee engagement, the culture. And it's a role that you get voted in on as well. So I applied for the position, did my interviews, went through the process, and within 2.5, 3 years, I found myself sat in the Hunslet Depot boardroom with the senior leadership team, discussing and talking about all business related aspects, and then my points on my agenda around employee engagement, how we improve employee engagement, what culture transitions needed. One of the best roles I've fulfilled within the bus industry, because that really gave me my platform and that stepping stone to be able to really make it my own and deliver change. So within the senior leadership team, and we're working as an employee director, non-executive director of First Bus, then West Yorkshire.
And that moment then, to all those naysayers and people who were making you feel really negative about taking on the role of a bus driver, did you ever get a chance to go back and proudly tell them?
So slowly,
promoted.
So slowly but surely, the news was out that, it does in our communities. Conversations happen in the masjid, in the mosque, in the shopping. He's not a bus driver anymore. He's moved on to a different role. But it's still, because you have people who are genuinely there in the community and come and congratulate you, well done. You're still working for them. Yeah, but I heard you're doing a different job. And then you have people who still working for a bus company. Yeah, it's not back in the family business. Still working for the bus company. Yeah. So okay.
Still not enough.
Still not enough.
Still not enough. And the thing with you though is, it's still not enough, but it's still not enough for you either, because you went further than that, didn't you? Yeah.
So again, amazing support from from the colleagues there, part of the senior leadership team, and you know, really quickly I learned that I'm in a different industry now. You know, being in a family business, this is a bigger scale. This is, you know, corporate commercial entity. It's not just bus driving. It's about ensuring, you know, you have that commercial drive to ensure that business really stays successful. So really quickly, I started really bringing in that growth mindset. I've got to learn. I realize myself that there's so much I need to learn to be able to stay relevant, to be able to stay competitive, and to be able to show and keep showing value and adding value. So that growth mindset kicked in, continuous learning, you know, understanding myself, but using my voice, bring my brand.
Yeah. Would you say the drive was because of what those people were saying, or was the drive coming from somewhere else?
No, it would. Honestly, the people didn't. They stopped bothering me.
Yeah, you blocked them out.
Yeah, I honestly blocked them out. The drive came from where, you know, seeing the change and the difference it's making to colleagues, to myself, the impact it's having, the change we're making, the positive change. How can we better this? How can we improve it? And my senior leadership team colleagues were the same. Okay, we've achieved this. Let's. What's next? Where are we gonna go? And that came, but I knew I needed to learn. I needed to improve. I needed to up my game to be able to then for the colleagues and the execs and the senior leaders to have confidence that Mubs is good enough to help us deliver this, or we can use him for the messaging and initiatives and delivery. But for me, genuinely, it came because, and I'm going to say this because all of a sudden, work didn't feel like work anymore. I was honestly, genuinely, I started enjoying it so much that I wanted to better it. And what came, the sentiment that came from it, or, you know, in the community, you know, people, there was some articles start coming out of the changes we're making, and people are now in the, you know, being recognized. But work didn't become work anymore. It was, work become a place of enjoyment, a place of something I was doing that I loved, something I was passionate about. And, you know, when I keep talking about sense of belonging, it delivered that to me.
Yeah.
That sense of belonging delivered to me, and I wanted to then deliver it on.
Yeah. And when you say something about sense of belonging and this incredible journey you've had from being a bus driver for First Bus to then getting a non-executive position and then growing even further, you went even beyond, because all this work was recognised by the royal family, by the king. You were recognised in the King's Honours in 2024. Tell us about that. How did that come about? So through all these roles, so like 2015 bus driver, 2018 to 2021, non-executive director, then I did a few different roles around employee well-being, engagement, ED&I, culture transition, reward and recognition, introduced, you know, along the way we introduced mental health first aiders to support with emotional well-being. We had a restructure on rewards and recognition, how we did employee engagement, and then came the pandemic. And it's like, wow, what do we do now? We've got 50% of the workforce on furlough for 3 weeks. We've got 50% driving a limited service. We can't go in and engage, social distancing, but we had to continue the journey. We were turning that dial. We couldn't stop that dial. We had to think of things outside of the box to continue doing, delivering well-being, mental health support, employee engagement. And Fatima just sat at home one day and says, how are we going to do it? We've got, that face-to-face is gone now. We've not got enough people to be able to, you know, do the forums we were doing. We can't sit in a closed room. So we did employee forums. So like ERG's employee resource groups. We can't sit in a room. What do we do? How do we get the messaging across? And I thought, I'm having a break from this. I sat at home, I said, I'm having a break from thinking about this. I'm just Facebook. All of a sudden it just come. Guess what? We're going to create our own Facebook page. First Bus West Yorkshire, SLT, Senior Leadership Team updates.
Went back in the next day on a Zoom call with my colleagues and said, we're all going to set up Facebook accounts and we're going to create a page and we're going to do a Zoom session. Senior leadership team are going to do a Zoom update every 2 weeks, and we're going to get colleagues to join in from home or wherever they are on a Facebook Live. We're going to stream it on Zoom, and we're still going to engage and deliver employee engagement that way. So we would do Facebook Lives through COVID. My managing directors and operations directors and myself as an employee director and commercial directors were giving updates via Facebook Live.
Amazing.
Well-being, mental health. I started writing mental health updates and newsletters every week, and we were posting them out, and it was just a well-being top tip and this week's challenge to improve your well-being. And we did really well in terms of keeping that employee engagement going and continuing to deliver that support. And then Monday I get home from work and I see a letter waiting for me at home, and it had the stamp of the Crown on it, and this is no word of a lie. Yeah. And I thought, you get that thing, every time I see that stamp on an envelope, I think I've got a speeding ticket. I genuinely am not, and this is, honestly, in Gujarati, as they say, this is as hachu as it's going to go, right? So I thought, I'll pick it up in a couple of days when I've got a bit of, time to fill it in. And I get right back to it.
Don't tell me you put it to the side.
I did.
And didn't open it.
I did, genuinely. And I went back to it, I think it was Friday evening. I think it came on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I thought, I best have a look at this now, and whatever it is. I opened the letter, and I thought, it's not a speeding ticket. Really fine, quality envelope, nice stamp. And then I opened it and it says, the Prime Minister has put you forward and recommended you for the British Empire Medal and the King's New Year's Honours 2024 for your work in public transport, employee engagement and well-being. And I'm just sat there, Fatima, and it's not sinking in. It's not sinking in, genuinely, because 9 years ago, I left the family business. I had people talking, he's become a bus driver. And today I'm reading a letter saying I'm going to Buckingham Palace and I'm going to 10 Downing Street. I'm going to be going to the Cabinet Office and doing a press conference at the Cabinet Office. And it took and I read it over and over. Honestly, I did.
Did you think somebody played a prank?
I was to my wife, Bilkis. And she was like, what is it? I just look at this. Read it, please. Just tell me. And if she watches this back, she's going to laugh when I called her out. And we read it over and over again. It still wouldn't sink in. So I did the real Gujarati thing here. Proper Indian thing. Because, where's the phone number? I rang them.
Did you? Just to double check.
I rang the Cabinet Office, honestly, just to double check, say, look, I've received this letter. And they said, congratulations. You've been recommended for the British Empire Medal, we're going to get some, but you've also been recognised and nominated. So from everybody who gets the honours every year, a closed group from what they've delivered get invited to the Cabinet Office, to the press conference at the Cabinet Office, and said, they told me then on that call that you're one of them, we're going to send you some more information out. But then it's top secret. You can't tell anybody, and that was the hardest thing, not telling anybody until the night before, so which is the 31st of December, and you can't tell anybody, and then that night it comes out
into the media.
But what an amazing feeling to then go to 10 Downing Street, Buckingham Palace, then the Royal Garden Party. I'm just a bus driver. Is going to drive buses, but then have this. Look, honestly, genuinely, and I say this, it was an amazing achievement. Still proud of it in this moment. My family, the community, there's so many supporters in the community. But I will genuinely say I've been recognised for it through my work in public transport. but it's a collective effort from all my colleagues who are involved in helping make that.
You give a lot of people so much hope because there's so many people who probably have been in the place that you've been, but through genuine graft and passion, because you had a lot of passion for what you were doing, and perseverance and belief, because you have to believe in yourself as well, I guess.
Yes.
A little bit of it, to continue and pursue, and to not give up, to then get to where you are today. What an achievement. What a story. What a story, honestly, guys. Incredible story. Your wife obviously has been your pillar through all of this. You've got children as well, though, haven't you?
Yes.
You've got 3 children. How do they feel? Because obviously this must be a really inspiring story for them as well. And this, no doubt, is going to nurture their careers and hopefully give them that belief as well that anything's possible.
I hope so. I genuinely do hope so. With prayers and du'as, inshallah, definitely. But yeah, my wife has, she supported me all the way through. I don't think I probably thank her enough or recognize enough what she's done and how she's, been.
And now's your chance.
It is my chance, and I'm taking this opportunity.
Bilkish's call, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Bilkish, Mubs has something to tell you.
If
Go
you
for
had-
it.
Honestly, she's been there, my rock pillar.
He's still
but-
not said it.
Yeah, so thank you. She's there. I'm saying it.
We really need to be told.
Yeah, absolutely. Genuinely, and I'm always saying it. So grateful. Always been by my side. Challenges, no challenges, good and the bad. There's been a lot of bad along the way, as I've talked about. There's been, alhamdulillah, a lot of good that's come now as well, and hopefully to come. And then our 3 amazing children. Yeah, Abu Bakr is my eldest. He's in year 8 of high school now. Abdul Rahman, little cheeky chappy, 9 years old, really cheeky chappy. And then my daughter Safa, who's 5. And for me, for my children, it's the same as well. And I always say, look, hard work, that work ethic, but importantly, having principles and respect is really important. So I am a typical Gujarati dad.
What is a typical Gujarati dad?
For me, a typical Gujarati dad is
children.
going home and saying, shouting their names as soon as I walk in. You know what I mean? Right? Abu Bakr, where are you? What have you done today? What are you doing? And Abu Bakr is so if I'm sat on the couch or at home on the sofa and I'm feeling lazy, Abu Bakr, can you get this for me? And Abu Bakr, blessing me, he'll do all the running around for me in the house. If I'm asking Abdul Rahman, who's my little cheeky chappy, he said, no dad, you get it yourself. And then I say, Abdul Rahman. And my daughter Safa, again, really good. But importantly, genuinely, going back to what's important to me is that typical Gujarati that I'll tell you. Culture, heritage, really important. Even in today's world and today's society, where sometimes we feel that our heritage and culture is drifting. For me, in my house, no. And I'll give you an example, Fatima. So when Abu Bakr was young, we bought a dinner table. I was really happy as well, in Gujarati households, Dastar Khan on the floor and eat in the traditional way. Yeah. So we bought a nice dining table. I'm just giving you this as an example, and until now we can relax and enjoy the meal, sat on the chair. My knees are not going to be hurting or aching anymore. And then I started seeing Abu Bakr, he was still young, he's having his breakfast. Even when he's having a snack, he'd go and sit on the dining table. And I thought to myself, is my household or my son he's not gonna know the essence of faith and culture by these small things. We got rid of the dinner table. Until today we sit on the Dastar Khan on the floor.
Really?
As a family, yeah. So I got rid of that. My wife and I made the decision, and I'm just giving you these examples because for me it's really important. And I talk about being a typical Gujarati, and I talked about that here, as a bit of fun. But for me, faith, keeping true to faith and our belief and our understanding is really important.
How did your children feel when, because suddenly, because obviously in any household you're eating, you don't have a dining table, you're eating on the floor, and then suddenly you buy a dining table, and that's a very exciting moment, a lovely moment, and then you're eating on the dining table. But you decided to now get rid of it again. So now you no longer have one again, and you're going back to eating on the floor. Did your children not question that? And if they did, how did they feel? What kind of conversations came out of that?
So Abu Bakr was still young then. So it was just Abu Bakr then when I made that decision. And Abu Bakr was asking, oh, where's the table? I don't want to sit on the floor. So it's just about, just explaining, this is the way, Islamic way, this is how we, in our faith, do it. And that's where I started, teaching him the ways of eating.
It's a humbleness to it.
Yeah, it's a humbleness to eat from the floor, eat with your hands, just wash your hands before you're eating. All this slowly, this instilling of these principles and practices, and the right way of doing it came in. So now, alhamdulillah, when they're sitting on the dastarkhan, it's like they automatically read the dua before the food is being served. Or one of us, that could be my son might ask me, Dad, did you pray a dua? Have you done your supplication before eating? So they remind me now at times. But yeah, it's really important to me, because for me, I felt as if going away from it a little bit. And before it went too far away, I needed to bring it back in.
Yeah, and getting rid of that table was...
That's just an example, that I just wanted to set, So it was really, really important to me. But my children, they understand it. So obviously today's society is really different to and the environment, the culture is so different to when we grew up in the 90s and 80s and 90s. It was so different. So I'm scared. Sometimes I fear of what society considers as normal now. How will that affect my children? Because I still have to understand that being a Muslim, coming from a Muslim background, putting culture aside, bringing faith to the forefront, how am I going to ensure that my children will continue with the Islamic way of life, no matter what path they find in life? Education, enjoyment, social life, how will they continue to ensure that the Islamic way of life remains within them? Really important. And there's been times where I've set bad examples, that we shouldn't be doing at home or something, and then all of a sudden you think that culture, again, cultural piece in the house is so important as well. So no matter what society or what changes or what norms, what things are becoming norms of society, if alhamdulillah, inshallah, if we can do what we can as parents to continue to instill the right way, the Islamic way, we continue to deliver that teaching, that's going to help, hopefully, and stay with them for life. Little things.
Yeah, just giving them the same principles that
we were taught and we were brought up with. Namaz time, when it's time for prayers, walk to the mosque and go for the prayer at the mosque. So it's so important. Yeah,
and that gives them discipline in their.
It does.
In the outside world that they're going to go into.
It does. And yeah, amazing. But proud to be a father of three. They drive me mad sometimes, honestly. They genuinely do. Like they would.
What an incredible journey, Mubs. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you about your career, your family life, and the exceptional work that you're doing for First Bus and that you continue to do. Thank you so much for being on Chaii and Charcha and allowing us to do some Charcha with you.
Thank you for having me. Can I just ask who made the current for me? Who made the current chai?
The current chai, obviously Chaiwala. Who else?
Amazing.
Thank you. We will definitely let Chaiwala know that the chai is still amazing.
The chai is definitely amazing. Absolutely, it's been good.
Brilliant.
Thank you for having me, Fatima. It's been really good. And to be honest with you, and I am going to say this, and I'm going to end on saying this, that this conversation that we've just had, it's retrace some memories for me of my journey, and makes me feel proud as well that I'm sat here today. Yeah, I had challenges, you know, and sometimes because when the challenges go away or they become a distant memory, you don't remember them challenges, and you don't remember, you know, what you went through to get to where you are, and so it's helped me retrace a little bit as well.
That's good. I'm really pleased to hear that. But it's been an absolute pleasure having
Thank
you
you.
here on our yellow sofa. And that's all we've got time for on this episode of Chaii and Charcha, powered by Chaiwala. See you again next week. Bye for now.
Thank you.